Alright, today, finally, I can play the new MSX2 game, Sales Discontinued, on the real machine. If you're not familiar, this is a game that came out recently for the MSX Dev Contest, and one of the craziest MSX games to come out in years. This actually uses, well, you need an SD card or hard drive of some form because it's 34 megabytes. Yes, megabytes, that's like 50 floppy disks of data. You also need 512K RAM, and you also need an OPL4 with enough SRAM, which my cartridge has 2 meg, so that's plenty. But actually, the thing that I didn't have enough of was RAM. For those not familiar, the Turbo R, I had the ST, which is 256K base. For this game, actually, you need a full 512. For many years, I only had 256K, but I actually finally had to upgrade just to play this game. I've been wanting to upgrade for years anyway. Just for those not really familiar with, the way the Turbo R works, you can use, of course, RAM cartridges, which is how I use with like VGM Play, as VGM files get huge. But a lot of software and games will only use the internal mapper, and this is a kind of a weird thing on the Turbo R because the internal memory on the Turbo R actually runs faster than the cartridge slots do. So to get the full speed of the Turbo R, you actually have to use the internal memory anyway. So I've been wanting to get my system upgraded for quite a long time now. I just haven't had a full reason to push me to do it. And I finally did. Which is why, so now I have the full 512 internal. But, before I actually start up the game, I just want to show you something. So for example, if you see here, this game needs an MS-DOS 2. I think these days most people are running Nexter. But for a few people like me, if anyone ever has this issue, this might help you. Because I'm, basically, as you can see, I'm running the MS-DOS 2.40, which is kind of the latest and greatest version. And I exclude memory, you'll see, I've got my 327.680, bytes free here. And even still, that is not enough to run this game. Like if I just go to I'm not going to roll a file manager or anything, just go to directory. And then just tell it to run the game. It's going to spoot up. Still, even with 512K, not enough memory to get this game to boot. It actually needs just a little more free. So I was a bit bummed by this, and even the guy that made the game admitted that he really has Nexter to test it with. But I found something that did work. So I went and made myself another SD card. Basically, after reading some really old forum posts, I learned that older versions of MSX-DOS, specifically version 2.20, while still being very capable, actually uses less memory. So, I'm going to switch my SD card, as I made a custom one just for this game. Put up the MSX again. And yeah, you'll notice the unrecognized commands. That's because all I did was just downgrade it to MS-DOS 2.sys version 2.20, while still using the later versions of like command2.com, which supports commands that this older version of DOS does not. But that is an issue with the game. Now, just by loading this older version 2.2, this frees up just enough memory so that it'll actually load. finally, I can play this game. This is actually a point-and-click adventure, something the MSX doesn't really have a whole lot of. Really, there's adventure games, but really nothing like this. I'd say this is kind of a... I know this does not require a Turbo R, but having a Turbo R, especially at the full speed, definitely helps because this game has to load a lot. This game requires OPL4. It will not even boot if you don't have an OPL4 cartridge with enough sample memory in it, which is 512K. I think almost everyone has at least 1 meg these days. So that's not really an issue. This does support a mouse. I don't actually have a mouse. I'm using Super NES controller, which is not ideal, but it works well enough. The reason you'll notice this game has to load a lot because it actually basically the sound guy went crazy. There's all kinds of custom samples loaded for sound effects on almost every different screen, and it literally has to dump them and load the next set every time you switch screens. So there's a lot of loading, so having a Turbo R definitely speeds it up. I've just barely started it, but we're just going to start fresh here. Go. Hopefully it doesn't crash. The MSX dev version, which is what this is, still has a few bugs that have been found. An update is coming which should fix them. So if it randomly exits the game, unfortunately I hit a bug, but I've only had that happen once. So it's pretty rare. But I am looking forward to the update. And yes, graphically this is standard MSX2 hardware. And yeah, now we gotta load to the next part of the game. That was just the intro. But yeah, there's nothing else like this on MSX. I would never even imagine it would have something like this. So yeah, really damn cool to get this running on the real machine finally. Alright, now we're playing. I go up here, you got my inventory screen. This is your kind of save load thing. So just in case it does randomly crash, since it does still have a few bugs, we're just gonna save. We've got functions a lot like a LucasArts game where you can rotate between different actions. So for example, if I look at my toilet seat, look at the bird poo. Can I talk to the bird poo? Touch. So far from what I play, I'd say it's somewhere between a Sierra game and a LucasArts game. Kind of like a Leisure Suit Larry, but with a bit more working design style humor into it. Example parking meter. There's a quarter inside. No, take that one. So yeah, you can hear there are tons of just random samples for everything, which is only made possible by the OPL4's PCM capabilities, which for those not aware, it has 24 sound channels. So anyway, selling some excellent toy supplies. Other again. Ken sent me. Can I touch him? Alright. Hello. Alright, I added the product. And then, because you can die in this game from what I've heard a little bit, so let's go to number 2. Let's get out of here. And yeah, if you're not playing this on a Turbo R, the loading time is a lot longer. But not required. Broken couch. So yeah, this game has been in development for a long time, and I actually upgraded my system's internal RAM just to play it, and I'm quite happy I did. Now what can we do here? Oh, switch. It's interesting though. I don't know what it is about. Turn the volume down a little, but I don't know what it is about indie dev games, but I don't know. People that make these games all kind of hate each other. Lots of people are complaining that one, the requirements for this game are too high, and that a lot of MSX owners can't run it. And I'm like, yeah, why is that a complaint? I don't know. Some people have this weird belief that indie devs, I don't know, they like make games for the community, and I actually disagree with that. In my opinion, the best indie games are games that were made by people that wanted to make them. Like, they made the games they wanted to make. So if someone wants to make a game like this, even if very few people have the ability to run it, who cares? That's what they wanted to do. Me, if I want to play a game and I don't have the hardware to run it, I'll see what I can do to run it. To get the hardware, I mean. But there's some games that I might just say, nah, I don't need it. Oh, it's his money stash. Okay. So does that mean I put the money in here? Hey, here we go. Alright, so I guess we're going back. Let's just save again. Another complaint people seem to have about this game is that the graphics are converted. I have no idea how it looks on the camera, but this game the graphics were made on a modern system and then converted to the MSX to, color resolution abilities. So there is some parts that look not as clean as they could be, but one, I don't really care, and playing on the proper low-res arcade monitor here, to me, I'm just on this as an MSX game, because no MSX game looks like this. So, we gotta load. But, it's not too bad, really. Ooh, we get a map screen now. From here... I'm actually not very good at these games, but I do enjoy them. I like the music. I guess I can only go back to the apartment building. I don't know if you can see him, but I'm actually running to it. Yeah, it's actually recommended you wear headphones when you play this because the audio, they went crazy with. There's even, there's supposed to be hints based on the audio cues, and especially the use of stereo. Can I pick up the bird poop? No. Ooh, there's an alley. So, we're gonna go use the intercom again. Here we go. But of course, if you don't have the hardware to run this and you're interested in this game, you can just emulate it. There's already an online version. And he's dead. Hello? Okay, I take it he's dead. Can I touch him? Maybe not. Yeah, reach it. Get over here. Was it there a hill? Was it? No, 33. No save. But the roach. Get the cockroach. Oh, can I talk to the cockroach? Hooks. So, yeah, I think this game kind of speaks for itself. In case you're wondering, I actually got my turbo upgraded through Beep, being here in Japan. Beep will do it for like 15,000 yen, which I actually think is a pretty decent deal because that even includes the shipping both ways. And I really didn't want to mess with it because I can do some basic soldering work, but I didn't want to mess with my Turbo R, and it does require a little bit of surface mounted soldering to upgrade the RAM. Anyway, kitchen, what we got? What's in here? Ski glass, beer glass, glasses. Okay. Nothing. Love the sound effects in this game. They're unnecessary, but they add a lot to the atmosphere. Knife, fork, spoon, fork. I got gloves now? Cool. Anything else in here? Rounds. Band-aid. Salt, pepper, milk powder, flour, nothing. Hopes, dreams, unicorn, clouds, nothing. Flux capacitor. Ring. That's why in any game they can just throw whatever references they want because no one's gonna care. Well, I got the gloves. Can we touch the dead guy now? But man, getting this to work was quite the challenge. I did a lot of searching before I found that trick that the older MS-DOS 2 uses less RAM. Just because these days, just about all the cartridges that are made now support Nexter, which is a little more memory efficient. Mine doesn't, because mine's really, really old. Something I've been meaning to upgrade, but nice to get this running on the pure machine, so I take the glove, now touch the dead guy. Golden key, piece of rope. 6 feet of rope. So I guess that's the end of the gloves then. Piece of rope. And you can combine items as well. I got the key. I didn't see anything else here. Can we go out maybe? I'm dead. Yeah, that's... That's game over. Ah. Yeah, I'm not very good at these games. I do like them though. When I was a kid, I played a lot of LucasArts games, but I ended up buying the guides for almost all of them, from what I remember. But now as an adult, maybe I'll actually play for this one the proper way. But yeah, that sales discontinued. Really amazing to see something like this running on an MSX. And yeah, technically, the minimum required to run it is you need an MSX2 with 512K of RAM, plus an OPL4 cart with 512K of sample memory, and some kind of SD or CF or whatever interface, because the game is 34 megabytes, which is massive. That's literally like 50 floppy disks. Because remember, the MSX only uses 720K disks, but that is huge. Anyway, definitely recommend it. Yeah, even if you can't actually run the game, and I think few people can on real hardware, you can always just emulate it, because you don't really see stuff like this very often. See you later.